I was actually looking at the numbers with your stuff, with what we've been getting from you, with the in just I think it was 3 months, just over 3 months. In fact, I'm going to have a quick look now, get in front of me, but it says potential work that we've got come to us is 1.3 million pounds worth of work.
What?
Potential
That's in
work.
Q1 of this year, is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And that's pipeline or that's work that's about to close or?
So that's just everyone and anyone that's just
Yep.
come through the stuff that you've set up for us through Facebook. So yeah, it sounds a lot, but our conversion rate's still not bad. We're probably getting about 9% of that,
Okay.
which I think's pretty decent. When you look at where you're going through, you got your doom scrollers, you got people that just, what's it going to be like? How much is it? People sitting there that probably, I don't know, they just wishful thinking, hopefully it's going to be £200 for an air conditioning unit fitted, and it's not, which
Yes.
it's not for everyone. Everyone can afford it. Some people can, some people can't. So I get that. So everyone's in different, it's different circumstances for everyone. But when you convert in sort of 8, 9% in 3 months of that's 100 grand, 100. I think I worked it out. It's about 120 grand. We've probably got 40 grand a month out of that.
Brilliant. Let's
And
take a
when you
few
think
steps.
what we're spending,
Yes. Let's take a few steps back, Paul, because we've been working together now for what, just over a year at this point?
yeah, I don't want to go back to before you. That's just not good.
Okay.
Let's not go too far back.
But at the time we started working together, had you done any advertising before, or was it your first experience of advertising?
I with Facebook, it was I'd had experience with someone else, but this was just someone that wasn't just someone that had done bits and bobs. It wasn't someone like yourself that does the
Hmm.
thing properly. It was just someone that said, "You do it this way, you do it that way." I tried it, and it just wasn't working. We couldn't get anything really going. I wasn't the money we put in, we probably got out. It wasn't really working. So you were probably the first proper person that that we approached to actually do something. Marketing manager is the word I was looking for, to look after everything and trying to point us in the right direction. So yeah, he was the first one to actually implement doing the scripts and doing saying go this way, you want to try this way, and asking all the right questions that we didn't know nothing about. That was the big one, not knowing where to go with it all. It's not just spending money. I've got to know how you're going to spend that money, right?
What made you come to the thinking that I need to find somebody to help me advertise? I want to actually invest in advertising now.
There's two things really. I think I'm a great believer that we can all I can build a fence. I can put a fence up in my garden, but it
Hmm.
won't be as good if someone that does fences did my garden. So I was like, one, I haven't got the time because I'm trying to do all these other things. And two, if I'm going to get it done properly, I'd rather give it to someone that does that job. That's their speciality and that's what they're good at. They know where to go straight away instead of me clicking things and not knowing what I'm clicking and pressing and all the rest of it and not knowing how to even do it, put the advert together or whatever. So that for me, yeah, it just made sense all the way through for me.
And you're very much the same. You have a specialist business. You focus on air conditioning as your core product and service, and you don't touch anything else. You focus exclusively on that, right?
Yeah. And that's what makes it work well, because the advertising's all pointing towards that specific thing that we know is our bread and butter and where we know that we're going to get the most for our money. That's why we point, because yes, you can get things. So we're pointing towards installations, right? Yes, you can get work off of servicing, you can get work off of breakdowns, etc. But in terms of actual, if someone approached you and said, I want an install, we know we've got this amount of money per lead, pretty much for one unit. If they have two, we get 2 lots, 3 lots, 4 lots, whatever they have. So it's a really easy way to work out where we're going with things. And the good thing is we've only just started doing the KPIs, which is terrible really, that, but we've only just started doing that. And before, I know everyone should have KPIs, but even before I had KPIs, I didn't even need to know. I need to know for the business, but I didn't need to know for the advertising because I knew it was earning its money without even doing the numbers. I could just
Hmm.
see our diary how it was full, and there's no way we wasn't making money out of that money that we invested with you. Not a chance.
Got
It
you.
was just, yeah, we didn't even have to look at the numbers, but obviously we do now because we need to for the business. But yeah,
It's, yeah, of course, it's important to do that. And you are actually, compared to a lot of business owners I've worked with, you have quite an analytical type of mind. You love numbers, you love detail, and you want to see, trace one number of, we spent this much money on our advertising. What did it come out to at the end of the month? That's important to know.
Yeah. In fact, I was even talking to somebody recently about, in fact, I think he's with you, so I have to be careful what I say here, but about he's struggling a little bit. But I think there's different aspects to his job that he's struggling with, not just the advertising. I think there's a few things. He's new to it all. His business is very new. And he said he withdrew the advertising or some of the money for advertising with yourself because he needs to, because he's not getting the work in. And I said, you're doing exactly opposite what you should be doing. You should be
Yes.
spending more money on marketing to get more leads, to get more work. So I had that chat with him, and hopefully he'll go away and do that, because that's what I got told. You kind of go, this was my early stages. The way I think now about business is totally different than it was back then. I was told, that's the first thing I did. I was like, I'm only going to spend £500 because that's all I've got. We don't spend £500 because that's what we've got. It's how much money do you want? How much money do you really want to get? What revenue are you looking for? That's what equates to what you spend on advertising. So if you want £1 million, you're not going to get it with a £500 budget, are you? It's all that kind of thing. And that's what I was trying to tell him. But yeah, I've learned a lot through all this, and I'm even thinking about at some point increasing our budget a little bit more. We are stacked out, but I think if I go a little bit more, it will be able to get that next engineer that I feel that we need, because we're right in between having the next one. And I think if I just go a bit more, I think that'll just work well. And that's just with you. We've got
Mhm.
other bits going on, but I'm just talking, the revenue I'm talking now is just with you.
Before we started doing video advertising on Facebook and Instagram, which is what we do together, where were your leads coming from?
They were Facebook, but there was organic stuff. We was in different groups. We was doing our own advertising through Facebook, doing only what we knew, which was not a lot. So we was doing that, and we was doing Google ads, which we still do Google ads, to be fair. And that does work. We do get a lot of work from that. So I'm trying to think where else that we do advertising, but that's mainly it. We do SEO, obviously, that's getting the organic searches. But whilst we've got Facebook plus Google ads and the SEO, it's bringing our business to the top, which we're in the top three now, which is amazing. So yeah, it's all to do with all these different places that we're doing these things. But yeah, so you should try and get as much revenue from as many different things as you can, right?
When you say top three, you mean the top three in Google Maps for your serviceable area, right?
So maps, we in Leicester, we're probably first, but it's in terms of a search, organic search coming in a list of websites, we're
Hmm.
definitely in the top three all the time. And it might be something like, it could be a paid ad, a sponsored ad, which would be the top. Then would be first or second, sometimes third in terms of a company showing up. Then our maps comes up first, and then we have the Facebook, we have Yale, we have all these different things that we're doing that we're part of that are now showing up. Facebook never used to show up, and now that's right. That's on the first six or seven. So it's obviously doing something, because Facebook's obviously linked to our website, so it knows that people are coming in and out of the website. So it's definitely helping in different ways. It's not just a website to click on. They can click on a Facebook now that's a bit lower down. Just the more you can get, more visibility you've got, the better, right?
Yes. And the technical side and being showing up on the searches and at the top of the list, all of that stuff is great. But there's something else I think that you said to me that always stuck with me the last few months since you mentioned it, which is that you went to a social event and people were smiling and making jokes at you because they'd seen your ads out there, and you've found that people recognize you around town now as the guy who talks about air conditioning on the internet.
Yeah, honestly, it's madness that you're meeting people. I'm talking social events where I've not even seen these people before. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and they go, "Are you that aircon guy?" And I'm like, "Oh no, it's good." But I'm like, "Oh, is that you've seen one of our videos?" Yeah, I've seen them. In fact, I took my car in for its first service. And I went there, he said, "Just take a seat. Do you want a drink?" Yeah, come out. He said, He said, I've seen you twice today. And I said, oh, you live near me, I bet. Then he said, no, I've seen you on Facebook. And then I've seen you now. So, and then same again with my dog. I walked the dog, had chats. Oh, you're all right. I said, yeah, not too bad. He went, you got a minute? I said, yeah, what's up? He said, you that aircon guy? I'm like, oh, no. So it literally is everywhere. But that's what I wanted to do. My whole intentions were to saturate, try and get as much as the work we can and really get out there as best we can. And you're not going to do that by not spending money. That's a fact. You have to
Yes,
spend,
yes.
speculate to accumulate.
Because the leads generation part is very important. That's the core of what I'm doing for you. But what I've believed strongly and why every business owner I work with, I want the business owner on camera, in front of the camera, doing the ads, because what that does over time is it builds up people's perception of you, that you're an authoritative expert in the subject matter and in the service your business delivers. And then when you get to actually have a conversation with somebody, they already believe you're the person who has a solution to their problem.
Yeah. And if I'm honest, to add to that, what's worked for us, and you did mention this would happen anyway, when we first went with you, what we've realized is by staying on consistently, instead of going, we're really busy, let's stop. It's like you push for more or stage you are or whatever, but don't stop what you're doing. Keep that
Mm-hmm.
going through the winter. Even if it drops off, just keep going, because what happens is you come back around the other side and they're already contacting you because they know who you are, what you're about. They've watched your videos for however long. And literally, I'd say I'm talking to people in my area now that, because I've been around doing this for 32 years, and there's companies that are saying to me that they're really quiet, and we're like, we're struggling now. We're getting into July with work, which for air conditioning, that's really good. Air conditioning is
Mm-hmm.
not something where we get blocked out like a landscape gardener, because that can be a 3 month project. With us, you can do one install and it'd be one day and that's it. So you need quite a lot to make that happen. And we're nearly going, if I put everything together on the last few that I'm talking to, we're in July. And I'm
That's which
like,
is about 8 weeks away from where we're talking right now, right?
yeah. So at least 6 weeks anyway. And that's massive. The fact that I look out the window, okay, the sun is shining a bit today, but the weather's been terrible for the last 4 weeks. And everyone
Mm-hmm.
else is saying they've not got much work. Yeah, I don't know where to fit it all in. So that's why I think you need to do that. Not I'll try it for 2 months, because it doesn't work that way. You've got to literally go right round the block and come back round, and then all of a sudden it just compounds, and it's just, yeah. I'll never stop doing Facebook ads. Not never.
How does that situation with your calendar now compare to where things were in May 25 a year ago?
We were just getting over the line. Just getting over the
Mhm.
line. There'd be some days where we wouldn't have any work at all on a day, which was quite concerning at times. But it didn't worry me because we were still doing certain things, but it just wasn't. It was the very early stages of trying to get things started. We hadn't even really got going with anything.
Mhm.
So I knew that there was a reason for that. But yeah, if I do my numbers from last year to this year, oh, like I said, revenue wise, in 18, no, it's probably 20 months now. In 20 months, and most of that's been with you, right? I think we've probably been with you a good, at
Hang
least
on.
15, 16 months of that.
I think so. Since around February last year, I think we got
Yeah.
started.
I went from £200,000 turnover, and I was looking at my numbers, and we're about 720,000 now.
Wow, amazing. That's brilliant.
And
But
that's in, for me, that's a short period of time.
yes, what I want to highlight about that is advertising helped you with that. But what you also went and did with that advertising, you didn't say, oh, I've made some more money now. You took everything you made and you went and invested it back into your business. You've grown your team, you opened a
Yeah.
new showroom, you did all
Yeah.
these things. So tell me about which ways your business has grown, people and team and process.
20 months ago, I was in a van on, I say on my own. I had Ash that was doing bits with me, and it was just me really just doing everything. Now we have a showroom in Birstall. We have, which they're there now. Michael and Nicole are there in the office now. We have a stock in the back area now where all the stock is. We've created a system that has the stock in there and everything. We've got 2 to 3 subbies that we use as well as that. I've got another van, so we're on the road now. I'm looking at another van. So that's literally happening in 18 months. And for me, it's just, you've got to be all in, else it's just not going to work. Because when it happens so fast, you've got to be willing to put in. Because if you really want it, it's like saying, yeah, I really want it. When it gets there, you just go, there's too much for me. That's no good. You've just got to go all in. You've got to sacrifice a bit of your time with from your family and friends. And it's just one of them things. But what's happening now, where I am now, 20 months down the line,
Hmm.
I'm sitting in the office. The lads are out doing their job. They're in the office taking the calls and doing the bookings and everything else that's going on. And I'm quite relaxed because I know things are being done. Now, that's a position I've been wanting for a long time. And like I say, you have to go through the pain, but when you come out the other side of it, if you're really keen on pushing and getting off the tools, if you do your marketing right, you can definitely do that. It's proven.
Yes. And you and me got together for lunch not so long ago here in Spain. You were able
Yes.
to take a few days off of work and you knew that your team could handle business while you were away.
That's it. And then we come back and we carry on and we deal with whatever's been dealt with and they get everything. They can sort most stuff out, to be fair. They can do 80% of it, but the 20% just probably needs a technical eye looking at it or what have you. So they're the things that I tend to want to get back. But yeah, it's felt so much better just to be able to go wherever, go to Spain and have some lunch with you, which was a great view, by the way, that restaurant you picked. That view was
Thank you.
lovely.
It was.
And just sit there and have some lunch and just do what I want. I'm there enjoying life and work still moving. We're still earning money whilst I'm sitting there having lunch with you. So that's something, just saying it now is so refreshing. Just to say that is something, yes, I would say I'm still doing too many hours and still involved in too many things. But I've only just literally got this setup done. So you've got to do that. You've got to do that. So it's still, people are still new, staff are still new. So there's lots of things being set up. But if I took that time away of setting up away,
Mhm.
time, oh, I've got freedom, a lot more
But
freedom and financial freedom as well. It comes in hand, I think, if you do it the right way. So yeah, I think once all the systems and processes are in place, and everything's running smoothly, I think, yeah, my time will be freed up by another 60% for
brilliant.
sure.
One of the challenges I have with the business owner I work with is they don't feel often comfortable putting themselves on camera or reading a script or any of those kind of things. And they say, I haven't got the experience or I don't know what to do or I feel self-conscious. How did you feel that way and how did you get over it if so?
Now, if you ask my partner, she would say, like I'm a showman, but
Okay.
that's only if I've had a couple of drinks and we're at a wedding.
Okay.
That's the difference. But
Yeah.
if we're talking about on camera doing something for the business and you think I need to get this right and what are people going to think and my friends, what they're going to say, I had all that. I felt really anxious, if I'm honest, really anxious. But I knew, in fact, I think you said this as well, but you need to do this because if this is going to help grow the business and that's what I want, right? And I'm
Hmm.
like, that is what I want. And what's the saying? You need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? And
Hmm.
that's exactly what I did. So I went and done these videos and it felt strange. In fact, if you look back on my videos, they look very, you could see there, I'm reading this thing and I look a bit tense. But if you look at the last couple of videos, they're more relaxed. I want to say I don't care. I don't really care about what people think because they don't pay my bills or take me to Spain or whatever. So now I'm like, I do whatever I need to do. And I find that I've done lots of videos, but I didn't post a lot. But
Hmm.
by doing that gave me the confidence because you get used to having the camera in your hand and recording yourself. And all of a
Hmm.
sudden, it just becomes another job that you have to do. But if I went right back, honestly, my palpitations and my heart was like this. And I'm like, there's no one around. Why am I feeling like this? But it does. It's like someone putting a microphone in front of you. You just go, "Boom," and because you're not used to doing it. But a speaker didn't start off like that. A speaker has to work his way up, speak in front of a few people, and then all of a sudden is in a big arena or whatever and is doing his thing. So everyone has to start somewhere and feel that anxiousness. But I feel like if you're feeling that, that's normally the right way to go. If you're feeling pressured or whatever, that's normally the right thing to do then. If that's how you feel, then that's good. That means you're pushing yourself to be better and do more, do better.
And what's happened to you now is that you don't even really need to have a detailed word for word script anymore. You just need some talking points and away you go. You can speak about it because the expertise is there. It was just the confidence on camera that you needed to build up.
Yeah. To be fair, this is a prime example. So
Mm-hmm.
who's been on this call today? When we was on calls before, even just doing this one-to-one, I would be like, well, I wouldn't be comfortable. But now I asked you to do this call.
You did, yeah. And I should be asking my clients more to do these. I was very grateful that you said,
You
let's
know,
do
and
it.
but I wanted to put myself up front because you've changed my life. So
Oh, thank you.
it's the least I can do is I'm like, let's go, let's talk about what's going on because there's a lot. We've not really had this chat like this properly over a video call since really day one. So I just thought it was well deserved because there's a lot going on in those 18, 20 months.
Yeah, we had this chat over lunch a couple of months ago, but I didn't feel it was appropriate to break my phone out and record at the lunch table. Just overall, now you've gone from that of the inconsistency to the consistency. You've seen advertising make a change in your business, and that you've realized that being able to be seen by more people brings more opportunities to your door. So, what's the next plan? Where do you see yourself going, and where do you want to be in a year's time when we do this call again?
So with the revenue that we've got and how I want to, some people want to take and have an enterprise of a business. I want to have something that's mine and
Yes.
and I use that as a tool to do all the things that I've always wanted to do that I've never been able to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I can actually do that now, but I feel like if I can just do what I said before and get that extra engineer in that van, that extra engineer in that van is going to give me so much more. There's not a lot more to change. That's why I said before, it might be worth just going a little bit more on what we spend, maybe
Mm-hmm.
take it that little bit further and do a little bit more over this side, doing this other thing that we're doing with Google. And I'm just looking at SEO, someone that I'm going back to the people that I tried and who I used before because I've realized that I need to go back to them. But again, that's what I'm talking about now. So they all come together and I feel like that would give me my extra money that I need. I say I need. It, I could live off what I've got now. There's more than enough without sounding, yeah. When it's money's a hard thing to talk about for me. It's never been about the money. It's always been about the business, and then the money follows. I'm quite comfortable now with where we are now. I could perfectly just carry on the way I am now, and we just adapt with changes as they do. But right here, right now, the advertising's working, the money's coming in, the team's there. There's not. I don't need to get much further. I did say I'd like to hit that £1 million turnover. If I hit that, then we'll get a profit of about 32 to 35% of that.
Brilliant.
So I'm not far
And
from that already.
there's one other interesting thing I wanted to talk to you about today, and that's AI, because you brought a young person, a young chap named Michael, into your business last year, and I was instantly impressed by him because he knew a lot about AI. He was very interested, deep into it, and I could see it, a lot of enthusiasm. And then what surprised me is you suddenly developed your own personal deep enthusiasm in AI, and you rolled up your sleeves and said, "I'm going to learn this stuff and build some new tools for the business." So tell me a bit about that and where you've gone with your journey of learning AI.
That is another absolute game changer. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
people need to really dive into AI, even if they don't, if they think it's not for them, then they're going to be so far behind. You have to have AI for something, even if it's just starting with your basic chat GPT or Claude or whatever you're using. It needs to be you need to just test it. Once you get a feel for it, you start to understand what it's about and what it's doing. Now, with our business, I went through certain things with different companies with CRMs, field service, and all these different things, messaging services, email campaigns, whatever, all this stuff. And there's all these people want, I want money for that, I want money for that. That's fine, but everything's just a bit all over the place and then things don't connect well together and all this kind of stuff. And everyone you pay never has everything in that system. And I just
Mm-hmm.
sat there looking at a blank screen one night and thought, I'm going to build our own system. And so off I went, started off with a couple of prompts. And before you know it, it's running as we speak, our entire business. and all the engineers have an app with all their jobs on. They fill all their forms out. They sign up, sign in, sign out. Everything's done. Automated invoices, automated messages, emails. Literally, it is an absolute game changer.
So you've ripped out the CRM and everything else, and you've built yourself custom software for every part of your business now. Is that right?
Every single bit from the lead coming in, obviously, as Michael was
Hmm.
talking to you about setting that up, they come into our system. From that point on, right until the review is all within our system, literally every single step.
And what you've done has inspired me to do a few things, but I don't want to talk about that yet. Talk about just the first bit of that journey. So I set up an ad for you on Facebook. People start clicking on the ad. What happens next?
That many come in, that many leads come flying in, you don't know what to do with them, and you don't
Yes.
know what is happening with them. So you sit there, and at the beginning, when you're a bit like, oh, am I doing the right thing? And they're just coming in, the odd ones coming in, and then they start building up. You don't think about it. But then when you've been doing advertising for a little while and everyone knows about you, this is what I'm saying, you're almost nurturing them. You get back round and it just goes crazy. You're like, what do I do with all these? They're costing money. Each lead costs you money, right?
Yes.
And we can't afford for them to just drop through the net. It's just not, you can't afford to do that. Else the numbers are
Hmm.
not going to match up. You're not going to chase them quick enough. There's all this stuff. There's loads of things we're just talking about now, me and Michael, in fact, last night and this morning, we've been talking about how do we deal with that lead? Like, where do we go from start to finish with just getting them to a site visit? And I just feel like that's, yeah, I feel, I'm just trying to think where I was going to go with that, with the, so from the beginning where they come in, yeah, that was it. So when they come in and you've got 10 leads come in one day, you're like, well, something needs, you need to see clearly what's going on. So is that one been contacted? Have we called them? Have we done all this stuff? We didn't have that before. So it was like, there was an email coming through, or we'd look on the Facebook ads, and it was a bit like, it was a bit all over the place. You couldn't really catch up with where you were going. But now we've built the system. It literally shows the leads all there, and then on another section, it tells us where they are within that one
Hmm.
section. So yes, we've got a lead, but if you go into the tab, it's what are we doing with that lead? Where are we at? Have they been contacted? When was they contacted? What did they say? Do they need a call back? It's all that, and it's that until they get to that site visit, then we're happy. That lead's now been dealt with. On to the next one. So that's why I needed that part of it, which was go high level at one point to try and
Hmm.
do that, to do all that, which it was great, but we didn't go with high level just because of not liking go high level. We like the idea of that. We've kept the carousel type thing, the columns.
The lead
We've
pipeline,
designed it.
yes.
Yes, we've done that. So it's not like we don't like it. It's just the fact it didn't have all the other things that we wanted. But that's standard because people either do that go high level thing or the go or Monday.com, or there's still all these different softwares doing different things. And that's
Hmm.
AI just brought all them together. And it's just, oh, it's pretty amazing to be fair.
Yes. The big challenge with these kinds of software packages is they have 5 features you need, 50 features you don't, and you feel, and then there's 3 features you'd really want, but they can't make them for you. And then you
Yep.
feel, I've got 60% of what I want, but there's just this gap. So what you've done is go back to the beginning and say, I'll just build the exact thing I need for myself, and I don't have to worry about somebody else's solution anymore.
Exactly that. Exactly that. That's the thing. We're working with Service Mate, we've worked with Go High Level, we've had Monday.com, we've had Simpro, we've had the list goes on. Because you're jumping from one thing to another to try and perfect what you're doing. And no matter
Mm-hmm.
what one you use, I'm not knocking any of those softwares because they've got us where we need to be. But for me, I was like, I just need all this here. I don't want to be clicking on this and that and linking this to that and Zapier over here and whatever else, N8N over here and all these things to try and interlink things. I want something in front of me now that we can just do that pipeline, that streamline, and just do start to finish. Yes, you still have to integrate things into that, like your Outlook or if whatever you're using Google accounts and your calendars and your SMS messaging, and you still got to do that. But the actual workings of it, the operations and the lead, the flow, the pipeline, it's all there in one. And that for me is just yeah, you just can't beat it. I look at it now and think, how did I come up with all this? Because it was a blank canvas. There was nothing in front of me. It started from a prompt. And then I look at my software now and I'm tracking engineers, I'm tracking KPIs, I'm tracking leads, there's all this stuff. We can even have a new one that we've done is a heat map of
Mhm.
where our clients are. So,
Yes.
which I don't know if I spoke to you about it. So,
No.
well, when you think about it, it's probably good for us to talk about that maybe another time, where it shows you on the map where our leads are coming from and where our leads are actually purchasing from. So we
Yes.
can do all that.
Where
So,
the buyers are, which is very important.
yeah. So there's so
Yes.
much potential. Like my brain just goes on. I've got ADHD. And once that gets going, I'm just like, yes, give me that. Let's get that involved. Let's put that in there. Let's put that. But I don't want to overcomplicate it. But I do want to make it better. So if we can see where our leads are coming from, great. If we can see our KPIs just by an overview, if we can do a start to finish and not have to get any other software, great. There's so many boxes that it ticks.
Yeah.
But for someone to go through that, you do need to really educate yourself in a lot of things, really, because you can't just build a system if you don't know what the system needs to be doing in the first place. So you need to have an understanding of business for the first thing. You need to have an understanding of marketing. And I've got
Hmm.
most of my from you because you're telling me how it all works and everything else. So I know how to organize what we're doing based on you tell us what we need to do. So I
Hmm.
build everything around that. But yeah, there's lots of cogs to turn and lots of things to really get involved in, but it really is worth it. It really
Yes.
is.
The huge transformation I see, and people have positive things and negative things to say about AI, but I know if you were trying to do something like this, build these systems in your business, even 3 years ago, it wouldn't have really been viable because had to bring in a highly paid expert to work with you, and that would take a lot of the value out of what you're doing. Now, with the current generation of AI, it's so accessible that all you really need is a commitment to, I want to do this, I want to build this, and you can figure it out as you go and actually educate yourself as you're building the thing.
It's just time. If you've got the time, then you've got no excuses. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. Because you can just sit there, have a play. You've not got to say, this has got to work and whatever. Just have a play, have a work,
Mm-hmm.
just see what it does. And before you know it, one thing leads to another, and you've got a system that's running the business like mine. But you're right. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I approached someone to someone that does some coding, a developer, sorry, and they wanted just to do basics. And this was not a full system. This was just to do the operations. It was more the field service for the engineers knowing what they're doing and booking jobs in. And he wanted 10 grand
Yeah.
just for one thing, for one aspect. That's not, I've got probably 15 more things on top of that one thing. And he wanted 10 grand for that one thing. I can say with the software that we're using, it's cost me about £1,500. But £1,500 for the software that's doing now, if I add up all the softwares that I'm paying for, I was paying about 650, £700 a month
Mm-hmm.
for everything that this is. 2 months, 2 months payments. That's what it's cost me. And now everything's in place. It's cost me about £50 a month.
And you've also built up a set of skills that are give you a lot more leverage in your business to
Yeah.
grow it faster and better.
Yeah, for sure. I think if you're not doing AI and you've got a business, even if you think you're not going to need it, even if you think it's not for you, even if you think no one needs AI, I'm all right doing what I'm doing, just delve into it. Just even if it's not you and you're not tech savvy, just do it. Just try it. Just start doing a couple of prompts. Let's do, how I look at it is if you start from a pastime, a hobby, or something like that, something that you enjoy, work around that first. Just do something like that. So if I don't know, if you like football and you want to track certain football teams and do whatever, create something that does that. I want to track what these football teams do. Just something random like that. I want you to alert me when a team scores. I want you to tell me where these are when they get to position 6 or whatever it be. I'm just random here with just
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But just by doing something you enjoy, all of a sudden you think, wow, then you go onto your business and go, we could actually do that. And we could actually put that there. And we could actually do, honestly, you just have to, you've got to go into it to understand. And you don't need to know nothing about coding at all. You just
Yes,
need to have the patience, the time, and the dedication to just sit there and just do it. And
yes,
it would change everything, not just personal, because it can change business and personal. Like
yes.
literally, you can use it for so many things.
I mean, I've found the same. I've found that it's enabled me to do copywriting faster, create ads faster, understand when there's problems going on with the ads better, and then seeing what you've been doing with your business, that's inspired me to create some little widgets and tools that help me with my other clients to do things like screening and qualifying their leads more easily, and so that saves them time on the phone and things like that.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
really no limit to it. It's just all about pointing your focus and attention in that one direction. Paul, this has been really great. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this call with me today. I got to learn more about what we've been doing together, and I didn't really understand some of the impact it's had on them. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
No problem. It's been a pleasure. It's the least I can do for what you've helped us with our business. I don't think it would be. I won't say don't think it wouldn't be where it is now if it wasn't for you. So hence why I wanted to get on this call, because it was a long-awaited call that was needed, because there's a whole load of stuff going on. No, I appreciate everything you've done for us, because it means a lot. And yeah, I look forward to working with you for a long time. I don't know when that's going to be, but I don't see an end to it. So unless you change something, then that's different.
Okay. Thank you so much. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
look forward to getting together for lunch in Spain again.
Yes, look forward to it.